I'm joined by June O'Neill. She is the chair of the State Executive Committee of the State Party, past chair of the State Democratic Party, and really, actually, you've held too many titles for me to count at this point, so I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Also, a resident of St. Lawrence County, so way up there.
And a state committeeman from St. Lawrence County, which some people describe as 3 feet from Canada.
Is that right? We are actually almost 3 feet from Canada right here.
Yes, but oddly enough, it took me 6 hours to drive here, because I'm the other end of Canada.
So tell me, what are you expecting here? Why this is important? The DRC straw poll. Pretty much everyone is here from New York State politics.
It's a pretty cool place to be, especially if you're you.
Yes.
Because you got everybody in one place. You don't have to run around and chase them up and down the halls.
True.
But this is sort of, over the years since 1998 when we had the first straw poll, it's kind of become the New Hampshire of New York State politics.
Right.
Everybody wants to be seen and see everybody and hear from the candidates. And it's really been a very, very good thing for upstate New York, which in the not too distant past was almost unilaterally overlooked.
Right.
The Republicans took it for granted, so they didn't have to go.
Well,
the Democrats couldn't win.
They took it for granted, or they just assumed that they would win here, and so therefore they didn't spend that much time stumping?
Well, I think they took it for granted because they knew they were going to win. I mean, in 1959, when my husband and his parents moved to the election district in Canton, New York, where we still live, his mom and dad were the 3rd and 4th Democrats in the ED.
Oh,
now we have more Democrats than Republicans in St. Lawrence County. We are proudly represented by a Democrat in Congress, Bill Owens, for the first time since Reconstruction.
Right.
We have a Democratic state senator, Darrell Albertine, and a Democratic assemblywoman, Addie Jenny Russell, and control of the county legislature.
So what are you expecting? How is this not, it's a little bit of a popularity contest, right? This is non-binding. It is the first contest of the election, and you can get some momentum coming out of this that you might ride to the convention, which is in Rye in about a month, correct?
Right, just about.
But there are candidates in the past who have won who didn't go on to win in the general, like Andrew Cuomo, for example, in 2002. So why is this important?
Well, I think it's important. As you point out, it's a non-binding, non-scientific. The DRC bylaws preclude the DRC itself from endorsing candidates. So it is on some level a beauty contest, but it is the first test of people actually head-to-head by people who live in these rural counties. Right. And like anything else, there are candidates who have won New Hampshire in the presidential primary and gone on to not do so well during the rest of the season.
Right.
So, nothing is a given. But it's great. I think it's important. I think one of the best things about this is that it brings the people from all corners of the state together and have a common bond in the fact that they're rural.
We are going to be mostly looking at the AG race because there are 5 candidates. Also, Liz Holtzman, I understand, the former city controller, is going to be here. Denise O'Donnell, the former public safety czar for David Patterson's administration, is going to be here. I don't know if these ladies are going to participate, but at least 5 announced candidates have interviewed for the DRC straw poll. Do you have a favorite?
But if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Oh!
Because of my position with the state party. And officially, I am neutral.
And you don't want to tell us who you think might?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't make predictions. I don't gamble. After 30-some years in the business, I've learned not to do that. But I will say that we are very fortunate in the caliber of the candidates that have already announced, as well as, the 2 women that you mentioned who may or may not jump into the race. So we are very comfortable with the caliber, with the abilities of all of the candidates. And as the candidates have said, we'd like your support and we'd like this. And I said, look, at the end of the day, whoever is the Democratic nominee is going to have 120% of my support.
Okay. And one last question I got to ask. There's this rumor out there that you might nominate Andrew Cuomo from the floor for governor, even though he is not yet announced, and he is not interviewed, and he's also at the moment not here, although I understand he might come through a little later. Are you going to tell us about that?
Well, what I will tell you is that it is within the purview of the rules of the DRC for nominations from the floor for any office, whether or not the person has gone through the process, whether or not they are physically present. So I guess you're just going to have to stay tuned, as you say, in television land.
And we will definitely do that. June O'Neill, thanks very much for coming by. I appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Liz.
Take care.